Hello folks, what's the crack, and welcome back to another episode of Meet the Members, where we have the chance to sit down with some of our wonderful residents who call Ormeau their business home. Joined today with the wonderful Claire Armstrong, and we're really looking forward to hearing a bit more about Claire. Claire's got quite a unique role in Ormeau, a little bit different than some of the other resident stories that you've heard so far, so we're really looking forward to diving into that. So, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And I've been asked by a little birdie just to say, who is Rita? Does that mean anything?
We were actually just talking about this morning. So Rita is actually a car.
Right.
So Rita was my Nissan Figaro. Do you know what that is?
Legend car.
So it was literally my favourite car. And then we had to give it away, but every now and again, it gets brought up. So we were literally just talking about it this morning. Do you want to see a picture of it really quick?
Yeah, please.
Right, what do you say?
What colour is it?
Blue.
Blue.
If I win the cash call, it will be the first thing that I buy back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely. This is Rita.
Look at that. Oh my goodness. I don't know if this will work, but let's give it a go. Oh yeah, that works perfect. Wow.
So that's Rita.
Crazy. How did you find Rita? Or what brought Rita into your life?
To be fair, I always wanted to have like an old style car. So I think when I first passed my test, I went and test drove like a wee old Mini.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I love it, I want it, really, please can I have it? And my daddy came with me and he literally lifted the floor and there was like a hole in the floor. And he's like, yeah, you're not getting an old car for your first car. So always had a thing that I wanted an old car at some stage, and then it was actually my brother-in-law had said to me, have you ever seen these cars, like they look really old but they're actually 1991. So that's what started the hunt for a Nissan Figaro, and I actually got it in Bangor.
What?
Yeah, bought it from a fella in Bangor.
Crazy.
But gone now.
The only other fun fact that I know about you is used to be a classroom assistant.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so all of my background was like in youth work. So I had this amazing youth worker when I was growing up, absolutely loved her. And then that made me, I was like, oh, I want to be a youth worker. So I left school before I was kind of halfway through lower sixth.
Yeah.
Got into like the world of work, was making my own money, so it was kind of hard to go back to study. But I was still doing youth work on the side, so I worked in youth clubs and I went on to do like different courses and things like that. And then I did get the opportunity to go to university to do youth work, but by that stage I had bills and different things like that. So then I went to work in a school because it was still getting paid but working with young people.
Class.
So I worked in Aquinas Grammar School on the Ravenhill Road.
Nice.
And I was there for like 8-9 years.
Amazing.
So I absolutely loved it because it was kind of like youth work but in a different setting. So yeah, absolutely loved it, and I made so many of like my forever friends there because I was there for that long. And I suppose in a unit like of a school, like it's huge, but you just kind of gravitated towards your own wee friendship group. Kids were amazing, so with special needs, it was like working with young people who had like Asperger's, ADHD, dyscalculia, or maybe just like emotional needs and things like that. But they were in a mainstream school, so it was really, really cool. I loved it, absolutely loved it.
That's class. So you go from youth worker, you kind of like springboard into classroom assistant, and then is there like a gap between you springboarding into Barclays?
Well, what actually happened was when I left school, so I was like 17, I worked in Progressive Building Society. So that was my first ever job.
That's the missing link.
Well, kind of. Then I actually worked in Northern Bank. That's how old I am. So I worked in Northern Bank then after that while I was doing youth work.
Yeah.
So worked in Northern Bank, then that's when I went and did school and worked as a classroom assistant, and then I had my own wee girl, and there was just so much more bills to pay.
Sure.
So the classroom assistant wasn't really covering it at that stage for me. So then I left to be a support worker. That didn't really work out too well. And then I went back into Danske Bank.
Class.
But it was only like a temporary post.
Yeah.
So worked there in the business team. And that was the first time that I ever really worked on the business side of banking. And then Barclays came.
Class.
And that was really it. So what was that, 2017? I started in Barclays on the counter. So I was
What branch were you at?
Belfast
Class.
branch. I absolutely loved it, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really, it was quite weird. Like I absolutely loved balancing my till at the end of the day.
Oh, really?
Like loads of people hated it, but I absolutely loved when you just got that 0-0 balance. I loved
So
it.
do you have like that gift that I've seen like people in the post office have, where you're just like mad fast at counting money?
I always remember, like my first day, I was like shadowing this girl who had been in the bank for years.
Yeah.
And I can remember being like, I am never going to be able to be that fast. I'm never going to be able to do this. And then by the end of it, yeah, I was a wee bit like that, flicking through the notes and
So
things.
mad. Like a human cash machine.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I actually really enjoyed being on the counter. But then the business job came up.
Yeah.
And through like meetings and one-to-ones and things like that, I'd always said that that's where my interest would be. So when that job came up, I'd only been on the counter maybe a year, I think. And I got the business job.
Cool.
So yeah, that's...
And was it the business job that brought you into here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I was a small business manager. So that was basically all like small businesses and community accounts and things like that. They would have came to see me. I would have got their bank account opened, and then they kind of like went on. I didn't really have a relationship with those customers as such. Absolutely loved hearing people's journeys and how they'd got to like, you know, starting off their business. And then obviously the Eagle Lab was here as like separate from the branch kind of thing, but I was able to then come here and open some of those accounts through here.
Nice.
So it was kind of like getting my way in. Still didn't really have a clue of what was going on that much. And then when everything kind of changed and we were able to work from home, I wasn't really keen on working from home every day.
Yeah.
So I kind of planted myself in here.
Brilliant.
And just tried not to leave, and they've kept me. Yeah, so it's I'm on secondment at the minute.
Cool.
So I'm on secondment, and it's supposed to be until January. So I'm just making the most of it.
Brilliant. So what is it that you actually do here? Because you're obviously like, you're in the boss, it feels like, you know, most of the time. I feel like you and I often compete with each other in the back rooms for like loudest laughs during meetings.
that always happened. Like when I was doing the account opening, you were always next to me, and I was having like these meetings with customers, and then this just howl of a laugh, and I was like, yeah, I just got used to it then.
Yeah, just the background noise. So yeah, what does your day-to-day look like, or like what do you actually do?
It's really strange, and Lisa Bailey will tell you this because she tells everybody now. Once I was in here for a while, I actually said to her, I was like, I really think that Ormeau Baths is a bit like a youth club for adults.
I've said this to so many people. I've actually described it as like a sixth form centre for entrepreneurs.
Honestly, it really, really is. And I think that that's what I love about it so much, because background being in youth work, and then like going into the business side of things, and now I'm like, I've just brought them like both together. So I'm still kind of finding like exactly what it is that I'm doing day to day. And what I find is you really are just building relationships and like meeting new people and finding out what people are doing to be able to connect them with other people that you've spoke to. And I suppose the Eagle Lab side of things is just that offering that we have of like the programs that you have, and access to coaches and mentors and like complete all different industries, and knowing that now you don't have to be a Barclays customer to have access to all of that. So I think that's it. My head is trying to get around, we have all these things for all of our members and the whole ecosystem, and you don't need to be a Barclays customer. So it's quite nice because it's just kind of like you're building that relationship, and it'll probably naturally happen anyway.
It's less of a hard sell the way it maybe would have been like a decade ago, and it's more about like an organic relationship, and let's see what happens. And something usually happens. That's
it. And it's just kind of like, so I feel at the minute I'm coming in every day and just having more and more conversations with people and building the confidence to be able to be like, well, actually Eagle Labs have this and this, and that could really help you. So it's not even like you feel like you're selling something, because it's actually what we have is actually going to help businesses. So it's that's what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing anyway.
That's class. Very cool. How do you describe this place to like people outside of your work life, like your friends or family?
Well, this is because it is really, really hard, because people will always say like, so what is it you're doing with yourself?
You're like,
yeah, like youth club for adults. It's the easiest way to describe
it's
it.
You know, every startup's like Airbnb for tractors or whatever.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So I think that is what I am actually using that term about the youth club for adults, because I do think that it is like-minded people coming together in one place, and I absolutely love that people work together in here. Like everybody's working for themselves or for their own businesses, but then like using each other's skills. And I think that's what way I would describe it, as like, you know, I'm in a co-working space, but it's so much more than that. It's just like people using each other's skills and going on their own journey and business and scaling companies and things like that. I'm still learning quite a lot, just from being in the space.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is hard to say. Like, I actually am still working for the bank, because if people come in here, it's a completely, you know, different side of working for the bank. And I do actually think that that's the way the bank will go. You know, the branches are becoming less corporate. If you walked into Belfast, you know, a lot of the time people were wearing like just jeans and t-shirts, and it's like, you know, how can I help? And I think that that's now Eagle Labs is growing so much. I think that branches then will become a wee bit just like the space that we're in.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Two more. You ready?
Okay.
First one. Why do you like coming into Ormeau every day? Because you're like us. You know what I mean? Like you work here. Like you spend a lot of your life here. Why do you like it?
I definitely think, like I've always said, you know, if you have a job that you don't mind getting up out of bed in the morning and coming to, which I was obviously late this morning for the first time ever, but yeah, I think that like that's always been a thing for me, you know, as long as you don't dread getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
But the thing about being in here is that it is so chill. Like every day, you know, there's different people in here every day. You're having different conversations, and I don't know, I just love the buzz about the place. Like I do bring it up, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this or not, but like when Mark got married and everybody like went to his wedding and things like that, I feel like you're coming in and it's a real community vibe, and it's just, I just absolutely love it. Yeah.
Class. And final question then, this is the question we ask everybody. If you could go back in time to say an 18-year-old version of Claire, who was, you know, just kind of like getting out of school, getting into the world of work, youth worker on the brain, what would you say to her if you had a few minutes of her time?
That's actually a really, really hard question.
Thanks.
When I look back at being 18, I kind of cringe. That was all before, you know, tan and straighteners and everything. What would I tell myself? Right, okay. Just don't take anything too seriously. I think that I was somebody who always really worried about like the next step, or you know, always worrying about something. If things were going good, like, oh, that's a bit strange, there must be something to worry about. And sometimes there really wasn't. So yeah, I think worry less is what I would say.
I'd say most 18-year-olds need to hear that.
Yeah.
I'd say most 28-year-olds need to hear that.
Yeah.
But take yourself too seriously, don't we?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to check out some of the other episodes in the series featuring some of our other residents and our members, you can do so on this page, if you're on this page. And you can come and get a free tour of the place, come and explore what it would look like for Ormeau to become your business home, whether you are a solo entrepreneur or you have a small team, or we've got a big team. We'd love to hear from you, and we appreciate you spending this time with myself and Claire.
Bye.
Cheers. You're natural at this, that was good.
Was it?
Bye at the end of that. Love that.